for chords. That's all it takes. Across countless pop, rock and folk songs, the same little loop of 4 chords keeps turning up under the melody, holding the whole thing together. It is probably the most reused chord progression in modern music, and once you can name it, you start to hear it everywhere. Musicians label it with 4 Roman numerals, 1, 5, 6, 4. In the key of C major, those 4 numbers spell out for very ordinary chords, C, G, A minor, and F, and nothing exotic, nothing hard. Yet stack them in that order, set them looping, and you get a pattern that feels instantly familiar, a little bit hopeful, and strangely impossible to switch off. So here is the promise. In the next few minutes we will build these 4 chords from scratch, play the loop so you can feel why it never quite lets go, and then show that the most famous variations are secretly the very same 4 chords wearing a different hat. By the end, 4 numbers will make sense of 1,000 songs. Let's build the 4 chords, one at a time, all in the key of C major. Each one is a triad, 3 notes stacked in thirds, and each one gets a Roman numeral that tells you which step of the scale it sits on. First, the 1 chord. Build a triad on the first note of the scale, C, and you get C, E, G. That is C major, our home base, bright and settled. We mark it with a capital 1. Next, the 5 chord. Count up to the 5th note, G, and stack a triad, G, B, D, that is G major, also bright, and it carries a forward lean, a sense that it wants to move. We mark it 5. Now the 6th chord, and here the color shifts. Build on the 6th note, A, and you get A, C, E. That is A minor, the 1 minor chord in the set, a touch darker, a touch wistful. Because it is minor we write it with a small 6. Finally, the 4 chord. Build on the 4th note, F, and you get F, A, C. That is F major, warm and open, the sound of a window swinging wide. We mark it 4. 1, 5, 6, 4. C, G, A minor, F. 3 bright majors and a single minor, and every one of them is just root, 3rd, and 5th. Now play them in order and let the loop run. C, the 1, sitting at home. Then G, the 5, leaning forward and asking a question. Then A minor, the 6, that wistful dip in the middle. Then F, the 4, opening the sound back up. And straight back to C to start again. Listen to what the loop does. It keeps pulling around in a circle rather than coming to a firm stop. Every time you reach the F, instead of settling, the music tips you back towards the C, and round you go again. That circling motion is what gives it such staying power. A progression that ended hard would feel finished after 1 pass. This one never fully lands. The 4 chord hands you back to the 1 moves on, and the wheel keeps turning. You could loop it for 3 minutes under a melody and it would still feel like it is going somewhere. That gentle, endless circling is exactly why songwriters reach for it again and again. Here is the part that feels like a magic trick. Those famous variations you have heard, the ones that sound a bit different but weirdly related? They are the exact same 4 chords. All you do is start the loop in a different place. Begin on the 6 instead of the 1 and you get 6, 4, 1, 5, A minor, F, C, G, same 4 chords, same order around the circle, but now you open on the minor, so the whole thing feels moodier and more emotional. That rotation powers a huge number of ballads. Shift the starting point again to the 4 and you get 4, 1, 5, 6, F, C, G, A minor, which leans bright and anthemic. Same DNA, different entry point, different mood. This is why so many songs sound like cousins of one another. They are literally spinning the same 4-chord wheel, just stepping onto it at a different spot. So why does this one loop work so well? It comes down to the mix. 3 of the 4 chords are major, and major chords sound bright and lifting, so the progression spends most of its time feeling open and hopeful. But drop in that single minor chord, the 6, and you get one small moment of shade, a bittersweet ache right in the middle of all that brightness. That contrast is what gives the loop its emotional pull. Pure major would feel a little plain and sugary. Pure minor would feel heavy. One minor among three majors is the sweet spot, light with just enough shadow to feel real. And then there is the 5 chord, the G, which always leans gently back towards home, giving the loop its quiet tug that keeps it circling. Bright majors lifting you up, one minor for the ache, and a gentle pull home. Mix those together and you get something that feels happy and sad at the same time, which is exactly what a great pop song wants to be. And that is the whole thing. 1, 5, 6, 4. In C major, C, G, A minor, F for ordinary triads, 3 major and 1 minor, looping in a circle that never quite lands so it can turn forever. The good news is that you will now start hearing it everywhere, in songs you already love, on the radio, in adverts, under film scenes. Once your ear knows the shape, it cannot unknow it. And because the same 4 chords give you all those rotations, learning this one loop is like learning a master key. For numbers, 1,000 songs. Next time we will look at how chords pull towards home in the first place, the cadences that make an ending feel like an ending. But for now, you have the 4 chords behind a huge slice of the music you love, sitting right under your fingers.